Hello everybody and welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. So we had just finished investigating this room. We were just about to head out into the bright world, hopefully. Bright, sunny, shiny, happy world. Not lots of storms and death. Maybe? I'm not very positive about this, to be completely honest. Oh. It is sunny and we got like a little oh man. Nice, I was right. Ahaha. Defeated world. Oh wait. I was gonna talk to them. It looks like he wants to talk to me anyway, so. Alagern, what do you gotta say for me? This is the Reef of Fallen Worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times, and with you lighting up the sky as you fell, we should get out of here as soon as possible. Why were you looking at me when you said that? I wasn't, he growls. Don't be so paranoid. But when she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrows at you knowingly. Can you tell me about your tattoos? No, that's kind of a weird question to ask right out the gate, isn't it? What makes the Reef so dangerous? The Numenera of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too, some closer than others. I hate to think what Calstage might do to her if I weren't here. Pretty sure you'd already thought that before. Can you tell me what's dangerous about the Reef again? No. What are the Numenera? Didn't I already ask this before? You want me to tell you? He laughed without mirth. The Numenera are all around you. Everything left over from the prior worlds. Sagas Cliffs thrives by trading artifacts from ancient civilizations. Hells, you can't scoop a handful of earth without finding drit from prior worlds mixed with it. Numenera is anything from the prior worlds, but mostly we mean the stuff of value to us. Okay, so Numenera is the stuff from the prior 8 worlds that existed here that I guess we know of. And it's interesting that they actually know that there are old worlds. I didn't actually know that they knew that. A lot of Numenera are just oddities, fancy trinkets with little real use. But sometimes you'll get a cipher that lets you do something incredible. Okay, so cipher are just what they call like ancient devices that they don't know how it works, presumably. Artifacts are worth even more. A cipher will only do something once, but artifacts last a lot longer. Though they can burn out at the most inconvenient times. He frowns. Not that it's ever happened to me, of course. We've got no idea what most of this junk was originally intended for. In most cases, it doesn't really matter. Like you might find what used to be a propulsion unit for a star chariot, but who the hell knows enough to build you the rest of it? Better to use it as a weapon or a power source. He scowls, frustrated about something. I bet we could remake the world if we knew 1/10 of the secrets of the ancients. But most days it's a challenge just to survive. Remake the world. What are these things? I just noticed them. Deep deep, they're like little dancing crystals. And I don't know. What's your story? Ask me again when we get out of here. I don't trust this damned Reef any more than the company we keep. What do you think of Calstage now that you mention her? A parasite disguised as a Skullark. Skullark? Skullark? Don't be surprised if she betrays you before the day is done. Actually, that would be slow for her. Then why are you traveling with her? He clenches his mouth shut, and you can see his jaw muscles working. She said she could help me with the problem I had. We never seemed to get anywhere with my business, but found plenty of time for hers. He looks you square in the eye. It wasn't something I'd care to do again. Keep that in mind when you talk to her. Can you tell me about your tattoos? They almost look alive. See, we got a little buddy-buddy with them first. These, they're nothing. Call them a consolation if you must. He smiles grimly. Some call them by worse names, but that's because they have had occasion to run afoul of these little snakes. He looks away. The line of questioning is clearly at an end. My gift and curse. They remind me of it every day. That's interesting. I don't want your help anymore. Alright, no, let's keep going. He seems alright, besides oddly liking the cult. We'll talk to Calstage later, I think. So what all can we interact with here? We obviously got these. We got this. We got this. We got something happening over here. We've got something happening down there. And let's examine this. The water is clear, almost unnaturally so, revealing ruins upon ruins as far as you can see. Alright, so what's this shit? Hello? There we go. 2 floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet burning leaves. Touch a cone as it passes. Success. You manage to graze one of them with the tip of your finger. Roarn! A voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it is not the one you recognize. It's black and in a pearl white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbit it like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankle, and the hot wind on your face smells of scorched hair and grief. Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. What are you? The cones continue whirling and laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign that they've heard you. What are you for? The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, followed by delighted peals of helpless giggling. They aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one. Aladurn rubs a hand along his stubbled jaw. Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful. Sometimes they'll turn you inside out. And sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense. Sure. I've often said the same thing about you, darling, Callistage murmurs. Watch them for patterns. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when their spiraling paths cross each other. Lore mystical. Their edges seem to trace faint glowing lines that twine around each other, resembling a rope fastened to some invisible point beyond this time and place. Let's try messing with them again, why not? Okay, nothing's gonna happen there apparently. Fine, cones. Be that way. See if I care. What's all this junk? Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna go over here just yet. I'm still exploring. It's always like, I don't want to accidentally, okay, so we want to go to explore this way. This looks like it's the way out actually. I thought it was the other way around. Or maybe up here, I don't know. There's so much going on here. Let's click on these bone coral or something, hang coral. A tangled cluster of metallic tendrils grows from the depths of the nearby water. Strangely, they resemble clawed alien hands, most of which have 7 or 8 fingers. Break off one of the hands, examine the cluster. The hands sway softly, but their movements are difficult to follow. Watching them for too long makes you feel nauseous. Apart from the hands themselves, you don't notice anything of interest in the cluster. Okay, I guess we can try to break one off, why not? See if we can get one of these guys to do it. None of us are very adept with the strength, but it looks like Aladurn, unsurprisingly, has the most. So let's just give it a 70%. Yeah, got one. You grip the hand nearest to you and snap it from its roots. Stepping back, you give it a couple of experimental swings. Good balance. It might make a decent weapon. We got an 8-fingered mace. You aren't happy unless you're breaking things, are you? Aladurn, I'm pretty sure that was you doing that. Could try another one. It's not gonna let me. So let's check our inventory then. We have a weapon. We have this 8-fingered mace, 4 physical damage, 1 chemical damage, weapon range immediate. Okay, it's a little better. Like I said, I don't really want to do much fighting, but when it comes down to it, you might as well have something good to smash things with. A matte black obelisk floats in midair above the water. It has sharp, curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. Lean out to touch the obelisk. You raise your hand toward the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. I knew someone who did what you're about to do, Aladurn says casually. Aeon Priest. A beam came out of the top of that thing and ripped his face clean off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though. But hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. I like how I'm making his voice rougher and rougher as time goes on.
Oh, hush! At least that poor priest died in service of his curiosity rather than stumbling about the coast, complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, she tells you, ignoring Aladrin's glare. But do, be careful.
Stretch your crystal shard toward the obelisk. Carefully, you level the shard at the obelisk, and a superheated beam lances from the tip of the structure into the crystal, sending vibrations up your arm and suffusing the shard with a warm green glow. Interesting. So, likely would have been heard if we had just reached our hand out. Instead, we got an infused crystalline shard, which we're about to take a look at. 3 physical damage. For some reason, this is just giving us weapons. Where did this come from? I know I had it before, but it just like all of a sudden reappeared here. I don't think it was there a second ago. 3 physical damage, 4 physical damage. We already have the fingered mace. I don't need to do anything else with that. So let's go up here. A bubbly mass of sludge floats on the surface of the water. Every once in a while, an oily nodule separates from it and hurtles into the sky. You catch momentary glimpses of a muck-coated object in the putrid mass. Attempt to retrieve the object trapped in sludge. Let's go for the 85, because this doesn't cost me anything. Aha! The next time sunlight strikes the object's streaked surface, you're ready. You snatch it from the oily mass and clean it as best as you can. Now, if this were really me, I wouldn't fucking do that. I wouldn't, like, try to snatch something out of sludge. I mean, it could have been something sharp that, like, sliced my hand open, right? I'm not sure whether that awful muck is harmless or you are immensely lucky. Either way, do go on poking things, dear. Oh, this is Calistage. I thought it was Aladrin. It's quite entertaining. Examine the sludge. Carefully, you lean closer to the heavy mass. After a moment's study, you notice that the globules rising into the sky always contain something, be it a shining core of untainted seawater or a tiny fish. You spot no other mysterious objects in the bubbling mass. So we got some fresh vapors now that I want to take a look at. Heal and gain a bonus to intellect edge. So it heals 8 points of health and gives us 1 intellect until next sleep. A simmering jar made of metallic glass. Inside the jar rests a strange miasma. Its vapors sit crystalline and perfectly still until held. The glass vessel twists and writhes when grasped. When you put your ear to the device and listen closely, sounds of weeping and hysterical laughter can be heard from within. Warm to the touch, once held, the vessel becomes ice cold. The user feels panic, fear, nausea, and then sweet relief. A torrent of emotions that simulates getting a full rest. Interesting. What else do we got here? So much stuff to look at. A cable connects the spout to the collection device. The nozzle looks like it may have been attached to another machine for a long time. This device is collecting black goop from somewhere underwater and pumping it to the nearby spout. The strange lines and rippling forms of the sunken buildings are dramatically different from the architecture above the waterline. I don't know if I want to do that quite yet. Still not clear to me where the actual exit is. So I'm being careful about that. Although this cube hovers in the air, you can feel the ground shudder with its vibrations. Alright, I think I'm going to stop reading all of these. It's just a little too sporadic. There is a shallow depression in the surface here, like many others scattered around the construct. Unlike the others, energy still pulses across this one at random intervals. A slight yet implacable sense of unease emanates with each wave of energy. There is a loose lens at the center of the depression. You think you could redirect the psychic effect somewhere more useful, but it'll be tricky to get to it in between the energy pulses. Without any antagonist to aim it toward, the device doesn't serve any obvious purpose.
Wait a moment! I have an antagonist? How do I use it? Hello? This thing? Maybe?
Uh-oh. Oh, that's the exit. That's a lot of people, actually. Quoro. As you step onto what looks like the back of an enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. In the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on gray gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Callistage. Cal! I thought you'd sworn off trawling the reef. Found anything tasty? His eyes travel up and down, both you and Algern.
Odds and ends, Quoro. Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure.
Her words are calm, but she has gone quite still. What is he doing here? He has something up his sleeve. I know it. Let's let him talk. His hand curls into a fist at his side. I was wondering, specifically, if you had seen a falling star that landed near here not long ago.
I've seen nothing of the sort, dear Quoro.
Her lips closed thinly. What about your friends? He turns to you. I know most of the draft that scavenges the reef these days. It's a rare pleasure to see a new face. Move or I'll make you move. Nice scars, how'd you get them? What are those gloves for? Where did the star land? Where did the star land? Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be reduced to harassing noble travelers. I never saw it, you see. My employer did, and thought, who is the most trustworthy team I can send at a moment's notice? He winks. Luckily, they were on another assignment. We were interested and weren't too drunk yet, so... What are those gloves for? Unwelcome but anticipated complications. He does not elaborate.
He does so love his ambushes,
Callistage whispers in your ear again, even though her mouth is closed and she isn't looking at you.
He didn't have the gloves when I knew him last, but I'd wager they're connected to devices in the area.
So, Quirrell says, apparently unaware of Callistage's interruption. The star. Have you seen it? I'll be honest with you. I saw the star, but don't know where it landed. I think it's best to see this guy. He seems like he could... Oops. I did not mean to do that. Wait, what the fuck just happened? First of all, I didn't click the button that I'm aware of. Secondly, I saw the checkmark as a success, but it says failure. And it didn't cost me anything? Oh, it cost me 2. I don't know. Quoro regards you skeptically. You have such an honest face. Lies don't belong on it. Let's be truthful with each other, Fallen Star. You have 2 choices here, and both of them are dreadful. First option, you surrender to us, and we convey you to my employer for, well, experimentation and dissection, frankly. It's not pretty, but there it is. He holds up a second finger. Second option, we kill you and the old man. Try not to kill Callistage, and bring your body to our employers anyway. He winks at Callistage. Apologies, sweetness. He whirls on Callistage, his face tight with fury. You told him we were here, didn't you? You couldn't resist selling me out one more time.
Are you really so paranoid? She sighs in exasperation. Darling, she says to Quoro, take your thugs and go home. Otherwise, we'll have to rip you to pieces. And the world is already so untidy.
Quoro clenches his gloved fist and a soft whistle pierces the air. What do you say, Fallen Star? I'm not going anywhere with you. You could have been cool about it, but you weren't. What a shame, Quirrell says, and glances at his companions. Now! Okay, so... I thought that combat was completely avoidable. Well, I mean, you know, if I had actually passed the intelligence things, I'm still not quite sure what happened there. At least we have some idea of how the combat works here. And I say some idea. I have no idea, but...